What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy. And today's case is about the Lawson family massacre. Listener's discretion is advised.
Well, hello to all our LOTW friends and family.
Yeah, hey everyone.
And a freaking Merry Christmas to y'all.
Merry fucking Christmas. There is nothing that says Christmas like a good old family massacre. Hey, Beck?
Nothing like it, that's
Holiday
for sure.
cheer.
Yeah. But obviously you're aware that that's what we're talking about because you're listening to us.
Yeah, so
Here we are.
it is what it is. So I have to tell everyone because this was something that happened that's really, really quite hilarious.
Yeah.
I will probably share the video on our Instagram to show you guys. But as you all know, if you are devout listeners, I am with child.
Yes.
And I just had my 20-week anatomy scan done and found out the gender or sex, I shall say, of our baby.
Yeah, baby.
And just in case anyone's wondering, my baby is perfectly healthy. So, yay.
Yay, first of all.
Yeah, first of all. But my husband and I, we did like just a him and I gender reveal
Yes.
that we kind of want to share with our friends and family, but we just did it with me and him present. And we thought it would be super fun to just go to Walmart, get two onesies, one that's pink, one that's blue, bring it up to the cash register, tell them, hey, we're having a baby. Can you help us with our gender reveal? And we thought we'll give you the envelope that we got from the ultrasound tech that tells us the sex of our baby. And then you put the correct onesie in. We bought a gift bag and everything with tissue paper and all. And we're like, put it in there. We'll pay for it. We don't want to see it. And that's how we're going to do our gender reveal. We're going to go home. We're going to open up this gift bag. And we're going to find out what the sex of our baby is. So it was a cute idea. Everyone was like, wow, very adorable.
Yeah.
You know, I had
like a
high
mini
hopes.
gender reveal.
So
I
we
love
do
it.
this. We go to the Walmart and we talk to the lady at the self-checkout. We ask for her assistance. And, you know, I kind of got the feeling she wasn't exactly picking up what I was putting down at first. So I spent some time really explaining it to her. She nodded. She seemed excited.
Yeah.
We were like, sweet. We turned our backs, you know, gave her the envelope, this, that, and the other thing. She scans it, puts it in the bag. She asked me, what do I do with the envelope? I said, just put it in the bag. You know, we pay for it. We're all excited, have the jitteries. We're going home. And we sit down for the gender reveal. And we go 3, 2, 1. We open the tissue bag.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it's a pink little onesie.
The cutest little thing.
And we're like, holy crap, we're having a girl, which really just blew our minds because my whole family thought it was a boy. My husband and I had a feeling that it would be a boy.
Yeah, like everyone pretty much.
Yeah, except for everyone I worked with, they all thought it was a girl. But I think they were like vibing off of like maybe I was hopeful to have a girl because I wanted one.
Yeah.
But either way, we were shocked. We're like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm all like,
girl.
let me just double check. We want to make sure. So I grabbed that little envelope and I'm like to my husband, I'm like, wouldn't it just be so funny if, you know, she didn't put the right one in? I was like, because this envelope doesn't actually look opened. And I'm like, huh. So I open up the envelope. I say to the camera, gender reveal 2.0, everyone. We open up the envelope and lo and behold, we're having a boy.
As Craig says, you had one job, lady.
Yeah,
one job.
And she did not understand the assignment.
No, she did not deliver.
And we were like, what was she thinking was going on? Like, did she just yeet it? Like, she got every instruction perfectly correct. She put one onesie in the bag. She hid the other one so we could not see it. Like, everything seemed to go off without a hitch.
Yeah.
But She didn't even look at the envelope. So we're like, what did you think was happening? Right?
She's like, I choose.
Yeah,
I choose what they buy.
They want me to pick my favorite one. Got
okay.
it.
There we
Like,
go.
What the hell?
You're like, no.
So either way, I had to post a video because my husband and I, we lost it. Like,
They
were
laughed so
laughing
hard.
hysterically. It was just the sequence of events, you know, where it was like, we kind of got the vibe. She didn't know what we were saying, but we went with it. And then lo and behold, she didn't have a fucking clue.
No, got it so wrong.
Yeah, but it's a funny video.
It's the most endearing thing you're probably going to watch.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, having a baby boy. So you're going to be an aunt to a little baby nephew.
And I can't wait.
And we can't be more excited.
Oh,
so
yes, we
either way,
are excited.
It was funny. And Craig was like, this is why you do not do your own gender reveals. Like, this is why you don't like,
this is why you don't use the cashier at Walmart.
Yes. I mean, listen. No, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you could have used me.
Yeah, seriously. It would have all gone on without a hitch.
Yeah, but that is a great memory. And you know what? Your baby will look back on it one day and be like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, like we were just hysterically laughing. Couldn't handle it.
No.
So anyways, I'll post it. You guys can take a look.
That's right. And
It's
speaking of
super
families.
Cute. Oh, geez.
Today's case, pretty horrific.
Yes.
Right, Bev?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Damn straight. So shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. So Charlie Lawson, guys. He was born on May 10th, 1886 in Lawsonville, North Carolina. He grew up in this close-knit community where he would eventually meet his wife, Fannie Manring, which is a crazy name. Rolls off the tongue a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Well, the couple married in 1911, and they went on to have 8 children. And in 1918, the Lawsons had moved to Germanton, North Carolina, which is a small, unincorporated community located in Stokes County. It lies near the heart of the Piedmont Triad region, offering proximity to larger cities like Winston-Salem. It was known for its scenic countryside and farmland, and being a small community, Germanton had a sparse population that allowed it to maintain its rural charm. In fact, Germanton is the oldest settlement in Stokes County, which was established in 1790.
Go way back.
Go way back. Now, Charlie and Fannie moved their family following Charlie's younger brothers, Marion and Elijah, who had settled there. They worked as tenant tobacco farmers, which was a tough but common occupation for families in their financial situation. Tragically, 2 years after the family moved, their third child, William, passed away at the age of 6 in 1920 due to pneumonia complications, leaving them with 7 remaining children. Despite their hardships and heartache, they persevered, and by 1927, the Lawsons managed to save enough money to buy their own farm on Brook Cove Road, which was a significant accomplishment for them. I mean, for anyone, yeah?
Yeah, buying your own farm?
Yeah, like...
I dream of owning my own farm as well.
Yeah.
Not like a working farm, like, you know, grown crops and
You want
shit.
the acres.
I want the acres with a couple cute little jumping goats, some chickens, a mini donkey.
A mini donkey?
Yeah.
All right.
Like a ton of berry bushes, a nice big garden.
I see it.
You know,
I can see it.
Not quite a homestead, but a homestead.
I get what you're saying.
Thanks.
I feel like it just speaks freedom, you know?
Yeah, like I'm
When
gonna
you're
twirl my hair
confined.
outside, fly a kite, whatever else you do.
Stand
on
naked
acreage.
in the sunset.
Yeah, that too.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
Maybe I'll have my own pond.
Oh.
I don't know.
But I could see why it would be an accomplishment for, especially nowadays, anyone. But even then,
It's
for
a big
anyone,
deal.
it's
Big
like
deal.
buying your own home.
Yeah.
You know? It's
And-
great.
And it also allowed, like, the reason why it was a big deal is one, they had their own space, but 2, they were actually able to do tobacco farming on their property and have the space for it.
Right. And not only did they get the tobacco barn with the home, but the home itself was a little bit of a fixer-upper house.
It was a lot fixer-upper.
Which Charlie, Fannie, and their eldest children, Marie and Arthur, worked hard to renovate. Their ultimate dream was to build a home from the ground up for their family.
Do you love true crime and travel? Having traveled the world solo the last couple of years and being obsessed with true crime, I found myself researching others who took the same vacations but never made it home. The Last Trip is a true crime podcast covering missing and murdered people that were living their best lives on vacation. I'm your host, Jamie Bevy, and each week I'll bring you on The Last Trip, taking a deep dive into vacation culture and travel spots, tips on staying alive while traveling, and ultimately recreating someone's last days in paradise. What led to their last trip? What are the hard facts? What is the final outcome? And could you be next? David Snedden was a 24-year-old college student from Utah attending Mandarin classes in Beijing when he mysteriously disappeared while hiking Tiger Leaping Gorge. Chinese authorities said he drowned in the gorge, and U.S. authorities agreed, although his body was never found and his parents didn't believe that. 7 years later, out of the blue, they got a phone call from a former U.S. official who had evidence David is still alive. This case sounds like a Hollywood movie, but evidence doesn't lie. So where is David Snedden? Famous rugby player and Celebrity X Factor contestant Levi Davis went missing in Barcelona last year while on a backpacking trip through Europe. Just days before he vanished, he posted a 15-minute video to his Instagram account saying his life was in danger and people were after him. After he disappeared, several theories emerged. But what really happened to Levi Davis? Join me, Jamie Bevy, co-host of the popular true crime series Strictly Stalking, as I embark on a brand new adventure combining true crime and travel. Listen to The Last Trip wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, my name is Kristen Rigadel, and I'm a licensed insurance broker across Canada and in the United States. But I want to ask you a question. Is life super predictable? No, there's always going to be curveballs in life, but there's two things that I can guarantee you. One, we're all going to have to pay taxes, and two, we're all going to die. I know, it's morbid, right? But it's true. And that's where life insurance comes in. Life insurance is a selfless act. At the end of the day, it's meant for your loved ones in the event you were to pass away unexpectedly. And not that money can ever replace us, but I always liked the idea of leaving some money behind for my brothers, whether that be for their college education, or a down payment on a house, or even just time off of work to grieve. Because the last thing I would want for my family is to have to go to work and pay the bills while they're grieving. And so life insurance gives you the peace of mind that no matter when you pass away, your loved ones are taken care of. With flexible plans, affordable premiums, and coverage that fits your unique needs, I do the shopping around for you so that you can get the protection without the hassle, because taking care of your future doesn't have to be complicated. If you'd like to discuss options, you can send me an email at krigadel15lrxc@wfgmail.ca or give me a phone call at 403-785-7670 to learn more and get a free quote today, so you can live tomorrow with peace of mind.
The Lawson family became known as hardworking and well-regarded in their community. The whole family pitched in on the farm to help build a stable life. Now, think of this. It's December, it's 1929, and it was just days before Christmas. Charlie, who was then 43, takes his wife Fannie, 37, and their children, now this is a mouthful, Arthur, who was 19, Marie, 17, Carrie, who was 12, Mabel, who was 7, James 4, Raymond 2, and baby Mary Lou 4 months into town to buy new clothes and have a family portrait taken for the holidays. And for a working-class farming family in rural North Carolina, this was an unusual and expensive treat. Now, days later, on Christmas morning, the Lawson family began their day with festive preparations. Fannie and Marie were busy baking for the holiday dinner, while Charlie and Arthur planned to go rabbit hunting. However, they found themselves out of ammunition, so Charlie sent Arthur into town to buy more.
Could you imagine waking up Christmas morning, and being like, okay, boys, let's go shoot some rabbits just for a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I hope they would eat them, but it sounds like it was just a pastime in the area.
It honestly sounds pretty wholesome. kind of sad. But, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the boys go out hunting. The women are staying back and preparing the dinner. You can tell, like, it just seems wholesome.
Wholesome.
You know, they're living on their farm all together, celebrating the holidays. It's like, oh, yeah, sounds
It's a nice
about right.
time. It's a nice
Especially
time
you're
for
in
everyone.
the 1900s. The early
1900s.
1900s. I know, I'm like, I was fucking born in the 1900s.
I know, like,
technically.
okay, Bev, why you say it like that?
But
Back
I mean,
in
it was
the 1900s.
but it was like a while ago, like almost 100 years ago, okay? So,
That's true. It's a while ago when you look at it like that.
yeah. So anyways, as the morning unfolded, 12-year-old Carrie and 7-year-old Mabel decided to visit their aunt and uncle who lived nearby. Bundling up against the cold, they set off down the path that led past the family's tobacco barn. What they didn't know was that their father was lying in wait. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
That
Dun,
is just
dun,
one
dun.
way to, like, set up a fucking crime. Holy.
Yes.
I gotta say, that was a little bit scary. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What they didn't know was that their father was about to murder them. Oh my God. So, yes, their father was lying in wait, and Charlie ambushed Carrie and Mabel, shooting them with a 12-gauge shotgun and then bludgeoning them to ensure they were dead. He dragged their bodies into the barn, laid them on their backs, and placed rocks under their heads as if they were pillows.
Like, he was literally laying them to rest.
Sounds about right.
Hey. I'll be like, geez, get me a better pillow.
Yeah, and I bet you're all wondering, like, what the fuck happened from, like, the family portrait to this moment?
Yeah. Doing baking stuff and shooting rabbits to
Like,
2 girls dead.
yeah.
Like, what happened is the question.
And it only gets worse from there. Charlie then returns to the house and shot his wife Fannie, who was on the porch. He then entered the home and killed Marie as she sat by the fireplace. The younger boys, James and Raymond, saw the brutality that was going on and ran and tried to hide. One of the boys tried to climb behind the oven for cover, but Charlie found and shot them both. Finally, he turned his attention to 4-month-old baby Mary Lou, bludgeoning her to death in her crib. Now, after murdering his family, Charlie placed all of their bodies in a row inside the house, crossing their arms over their chests and propping their heads up with rocks. Then he fled into the nearby woods. Now, what's interesting is that Charlie's brother Elijah had been out rabbit hunting that morning as well. See, it's just a tradition.
It's a popular thing, yeah.
It's a tradition. And around 1 p.m., he decided to pop into the Lawsons and wish the family a Merry Christmas. He was immediately struck by the eerie silence surrounding the home. With 7 children, there was no such thing as silence. So he peeked inside, and he saw Fannie and the children's lifeless bodies. Elijah looked around to see if he could see anyone else when he was startled by a noise. He thought the noise was coming from the attic, and fearing the killer might still be inside, he ran to a neighbor's house for help. The sheriff, at the time, received a telegram informing him of what Elijah had seen. The sheriff and coroner arrived at the scene around 4 p.m. with a hearse. And word spread quickly around the community, and soon neighbors and curious onlookers gathered at the property. When everyone saw the scene, they were left scratching their head. Who could have executed this brutality on the Lawson family, and where were the 4 other family members?
Right, because at this point, they only see the 5 in the home, right?
Yes.
Imagine walking up to that scene and having no idea. It would be, like, so fearful, be like, where, like, truly, what is going on here?
Oh, hands down.
Yeah.
So, a little while later, a neighbor heading to the Lawson residence walked by the tobacco barn when they noticed blood and drag marks in the snow. Upon investigating, they found Carrie and Mabel's bodies and informed the authorities. They too were placed in a row with a rock propping their heads up, just like the others. When the initial investigation was happening, a distant gunshot rang out. The family's beagles led the search party into the woods, where they discovered Charlie's body. It looked as though he had been there a while, and it was noted that he had paced a trench in the snow before shooting himself, as if he was walking back and forth, like contemplating
What he was doing.
or what he was about to do, right? Yeah. In his pocket were 2 cryptic, unfinished notes. One read, and I quote, "Trouble can cause," and the other was nobody to blame but. By this time, 8 out of 9 family members had been found dead, and everyone was concerned for the well-being of Arthur, who, if we recall, Charlie had sent into town to get more ammunition.
Exactly. But no one else knows this.
Right.
Except for the dead family members.
So they're just like, where the hell is he, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could he have had something to do with it? I'm sure
that was the top of the question on their mind.
Yes. Now, as the coroners went to remove the bodies, they realized the hearse could not get up the snow-covered hill leading to the home. So the bodies had to be carried down on makeshift stretchers for onlookers to see. And it was around this time when they saw Arthur in the distance. He had been returning home after going to get ammo. Investigators had deduced that Charlie had slaughtered his whole family and then turned the gun on himself. I mean, he was obviously the person who stood out. His death looked different.
Mm-hmm.
The way his body was found was different than the others, right?
Exactly.
But it left one question for everyone. Why not Arthur?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're happy he's not dead.
Yeah, of course.
But why
spare him?
Yeah. What was the motive there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, almost immediately, this crime became a media sensation. There were even articles written about the Lawson family in the New York Times, and people swarmed to the Lawson residence in Germanton.
Isn't that funny to say, a media sensation in the 1920s?
Yeah, I was thinking that as I was reading it.
It's such a new thing. Or not new, but, more modern.
Yeah, a more modern phrase, right?
Yeah.
So it was just written in the paper.
But that was big news because it
yeah.
traveled so far.
Yeah.
It's usually kept in state at least.
Right.
But not this one.
I mean,
it's brutal.
This was a brutal family massacre.
And on Christmas.
So, yeah. Of course it made it to New York.
Of course.
After the slaughter of the Lawson family, everyone except Arthur, of course, was laid to rest on December 27th of that year in a single grave donated by the Browder family. Over 5,000 people attended the funeral, which was just a testament to the tragedy's impact. Because obviously they probably didn't know everyone that attended, but people were just moved by what had occurred.
No, for sure.
The family was buried in the new clothes they had worn for their portrait just days earlier. Now, in a macabre turn of events, Becky tells me macabre means dark, kind of fucked up turn of events.
Yeah. Bev, say how you initially said it.
Macabre. Well, I was like, what the fuck is that word? I had to pause the podcast to be like, Becky, what is this? She's like, I think it's macabre. I'm like, what the fuck is a macabre?
What is a macabre?
Yeah, it's in a fucked up turn of events. How do you know that word?
Oh, I'm actually really glad you asked that. I only know because of some metal music, because I kept saying the same thing to Jamie Macabre. And I kept saying, he's like, that's not how you say it. I was like, what? Is it not? That's how it's spelled. Surely.
That is how it's spelled.
He's like, no. So I Googled it and it's not macabre.
It's macabre. Craziness.
Yeah.
But basically, in a fucked up turn of events, Charlie's brother, Marion, turned the Lawson home into a tourist attraction, charging visitors 25 cents a visit to see the crime scene.
Okay, first of all, 25 cents feels like nothing.
But back then.
But in 1929, I'd be curious, what is it equivalent to in today's standards?
Well, Becky, according to Google, it is $4.75 basically. Becky's over here I bet that's $50. That's a lot.
Well,
No.
our mom, when she talks about oh, candies were a penny. That was in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, and now they're $5 for I mean,
no.
not tracks.
Those 5-cent candies when we were younger?
Yeah.
Now they're 15 cents or something? I don't actually even know the last time.
Anyways, the conversion is kind of tracking for me right now. Your logic is the thing that was kind of fucked up. So anyways, either way, he's charging people in our day and age $5 to visit a really horrific crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
And one item on display was the cake Marie had baked on Christmas morning. Visitors picked at the raisins, taking them as morbid souvenirs, until it was finally covered and preserved under glass. Who the fuck would want a raisin from that? God damn.
You know what? Although I would never take something in that scenario, but if I had even a remote thought that I'm going to take a souvenir, it would not be a goddamn raisin.
Yeah, no doubt.
I would be like, oh, is that a frying pan? I would rather take something like that's not going to rot.
Yeah, no kidding. People are just picking raisins off a cake. Like, I can't even handle that. That's,
Maybe
like,
they
weird.
assumed like no one would notice, or maybe, you know, it was close to the Great Depression. Maybe they were hungry.
Oh my God, Becky.
Hey, I'm not wrong, maybe.
Either way, I'm wondering how this cake, how long it lasted under glass.
Surely not that long.
Right? Like, either way. Now, this is more along in the lines of what you're thinking, because several other items from Lawson at home were taken and sold as well.
Mm-hmm.
Marion explained that he sold items and charged for viewings to raise money for Arthur so that he could pay for the family farm. Well, all right.
However, interesting side note is that there wasn't, like, Arthur didn't really see any money. Like, it wasn't even enough to really help.
Well,
So
this
it's
is only
kind of-
charging people like $5.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that helpful.
Not like how many people are really going to come see, right?
You'd be shocked, Bev. You'd be shocked. I don't know the number, but it was like not just like in the next week that lots of people showed up. It was like months
Right.
and months. Like it became like a tourist attraction there.
Right.
And people traveled there to see the Lawson home specifically.
I do feel as though we have a lot more information available to us and are more familiar with like major crime scenes around the world, whereas like in 1929 this kind of thing didn't happen very often, or maybe it did, but people just didn't hear about it. So this was like a huge thing in like 1929 to have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of sucks. I mean that he didn't really see much to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of shows in his life because, you know, he faced a very challenging life after the massacre. And what's really unfortunate is that he ended up dying in a car accident in 1945 when he was 35 years old. And he left behind a wife and 4 children.
So literally all Lawson family died
Yeah.
within like 25 years.
Yeah, they all died an untimely death, right?
Yeah.
Now, although this famicide was horrific, it still left a few questions. What was Charlie's motive? And why did he spare Arthur's life? And over the years, many theories have emerged. The theories as to why Charlie sent Arthur away was that he was the only one physically capable of stopping Charlie from carrying out his plan. The second theory was that he was the only male old enough to take care of himself and carry out the family legacy.
So Charlie would have wanted at least one family member alive.
Yeah,
I
to
guess.
carry it on his legacy or what have you.
Yeah. Okay.
The third was that this was not a planned event and Arthur happened to be at the store at the time. But what makes that the least likely was Charlie had ammo for the gun, so Arthur didn't need to go to the store. He kind of just fibbed.
Yeah, so then you think, how could it just be like a last minute decision? Surely it must have been a little premeditated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, so the big question, why did Charlie do it? A couple theories kind of have come up over the years. Of course, they have no one to speak to about it, right? Like Charlie didn't survive, no one else did. So we can't really speak to anything, but we can only speculate. So one thing that people thought was he had some type of mental illness or potential brain injury. It was said that Charlie had suffered a head injury weeks before the massacre. He was hit in the head with an axe, and the injury was not life-threatening, but people noticed he was acting differently after the accident. And when the autopsy was performed, a part of his brain was taken to the Johns Hopkins to see if there was anything going on that could have explained his unusual actions. But there was no significant brain damage. There was also a belief going around that maybe Charlie could have had undiagnosed mental illness that could have made him snap.
It's definitely a possibility in the 1920s. Like, we think about how far mental illness has come nowadays.
Yeah.
Back in the 1920s, it's like, unless you were completely like hallucinating, hearing voices, you know.
There wasn't much known about it.
Exactly. So he could have had like bipolar. He could have even just been depressed.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options,
you know,
in terms of mental illness that he could have been suffering from that could have made him just like want to end it all, right?
Yeah.
Another theory was that there was some financial strain in the family. So some speculated that the family was having money troubles and that pushed Charlie to commit the murders.
Although what is interesting about that theory, Bev, is the family, not that they were super wealthy, but they were not dirt poor either.
No.
They were kind of middle grounds, blue collar. They did okay.
Right. So it kind of seems unlikely.
Yeah, unless maybe someone managed their finances weird. I mean, that's a possibility too, right?
It could also be that Charlie, maybe the family was worse off than they knew.
It's possible.
And maybe he could have been keeping that a secret and, felt there was no other way out.
Definitely possible.
Again, though, that is pure speculation.
Yeah.
Now, the other theory was that it was premeditated. It was said that the new clothes and the family portrait could have suggested that Charlie had planned the murders, wanting to preserve a perfect image of his family.
I mean, that's true. It said like families of like that status, it was really uncommon for them to, buy new outfits, take these professional family portraits.
Right.
There could have been a family portrait like on the farm or something, but theirs was like nice outfits. They were well dressed. Yeah.
Like maybe it was like the one last hurrah before he ended it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like here's my family. See how wonderful we are.
But I'm about to snap and do something.
Yeah.
And end it all. But this is what maybe I want to be remembered. Like who knows? That could also speak to potential mental illness, right? Where
his mental state was.
Yeah, like where he wants to remember his family in this way, wants almost like a memento to remember, to have them remembered by, but then also can't do it anymore. And he's planning to just end it all.
Yeah.
For the sake of himself and his family, or, in his twisted mind, I'm saying, not that it would be better for the family to have died, but maybe that's what he thought at the time.
It's possible.
Now, another one was that Charlie had witnessed a crime. Like that maybe he had witnessed something dangerous and his family was killed to silence them.
Yes.
Now, another one that was thrown around was that there were dark allegations of abuse.
Yeah. Now, this theory, though, did not come out to the public until like the 1990s.
Yes, when the book White Christmas, Bloody Christmas was published. Then that's when these allegations had surfaced.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, an anonymous source claimed that they had heard a rumor during a tour of the Lawson home shortly after the murders. And that rumor hinted at a disturbing relationship between Charlie and Marie, the oldest daughter.
Now, that person was like on a tour and it's like they heard something being said. So it's like maybe it was just hearsay. Maybe it meant nothing. Maybe someone's just like dramatizing this murder.
Right.
But,
yes, exactly. The day before the book was set to come out, the author received a call from none other than Stella Lawson, who was a relative of the family who had been interviewed for the project. And Stella dropped a bombshell saying that she'd overheard Fannie Lawson's sister-in-law and aunts, her own mother, Jetty Lawson, talking about how Fannie had confided in them. And according to these conversations, Fannie suspected there was an incestuous relationship between Charlie and Marie. Now, Jetty died in early 1928, which means Fannie had been suspicious for at least a year and a half before the murders happened. That means these dark secrets may have been brewing for a long time.
ugh.
Then, in 2006, more details came out when the same author published The Meaning of Our Tears, because a close friend, Ella May, of Marie's, came forward with her own story. The girl said that just a few weeks before Christmas in 1929, Marie confided in her about something horrifying. She was pregnant, and the baby's father was her own father, Charlie. Even more disturbing, Marie told Ella May that both Charlie and Fannie knew about the pregnancy. Now, this revelation has led many to believe that Charlie's actions on Christmas Day were driven by fear and shame. If the secret got out, which it would have, it would have been a scandal of unimaginable proportions. Some think Charlie decided to kill his family to keep the truth from being exposed.
I mean, that's a pretty big secret. You know what is unfortunate is that these theories came out so late that they weren't... So the whole family, they knew how they died. They didn't do any autopsies except for take Charlie's brain, really.
Right.
Like, they didn't investigate because they knew how they died. But if they had known this at the time, they could have gone and seen if Marie was actually pregnant.
Right, of course.
Right? But they didn't know, so it's so unfortunate because then it's all hearsay.
It totally is, but I would say this kind of seems more likely than the other ones that I've heard, the other theories. And now, this is kind of weird, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rebecca, but didn't last Christmas we release a podcast about a guy who killed his whole family because he was having an incestuous relationship with his daughter? Didn't we call it Father Christmas?
Ooh, did we?
Like,
I remember the Terminator for New Year's.
no, I'm pretty sure because that case stuck with me.
Oh, you're right. Ernest Hoover.
Yes. It's like the
Oh my
exact
God.
same thing on Christmas. Like, what the fuck? What the dick,
Why,
Becky?
why is this a Christmas event apparently
like,
with
what is
murderers?
going on? If this is in fact the reason why Charlie killed his family, like, the fuck? Anyways, guys, go listen to our episode of Father Christmas because
Yeah.
it was a fucked up case. You kind of
As
know the
well.
outcome, but it's worth a listen as well.
Yeah, it sure is.
Now, adding to the mystery of all this, a close family friend and neighbor of the Lawsons later admitted that he knew there were serious problems in the Lawson household. However, he refused to go into detail about what those issues were.
I hate when people do that. Like in this scenario where they just like say, "Oh, I knew there were issues," but they don't care to elaborate. It's not even like gossip, but it's like, "But how do you know there was issues? What do you mean by that?"
Yeah, like, it's just so silly. It's basically a nothing burger sandwich right there.
Yeah, you're like, "Okay, don't all families have problems of some sort?"
Yeah, like, what the fuck do you mean? Did they yell at each other?
Did the older brother have a rage problem?
Or was there fucking an incestuous relationship going on?
Yeah, like there's many factors to say a family has problems, or maybe one person like just yells all the time.
Yeah, so
But they're
thanks,
kind.
buddy.
Yeah,
You're
no
adding
help.
to the mystery, but, like,
Not helping.
yeah, not helping. So either way, Becky, these allegations have added a deeply unsettling layer to the Lawson family tragedy. And if they're true, it also provides a possible explanation for Charlie's unimaginable actions, though it doesn't make his actions any less horrifying.
God, no.
But yeah, overall, I do think that is the most plausible one. I'm not going to lie.
You know, I agree. I feel like all the other theories, except for maybe mental health.
Yes.
I feel like all the other theories are like, okay, it's possible,
But
there's flaws.
there's flaws, but this one, it's like he's kind of on a timeline, right? Like, you either let them live, deal with the consequences of your action, your fucking horrific actions of having an incest relationship with your daughter come to light, or, you end the problem altogether.
Before anyone can tell
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Exactly. And then your dark nature as a human being doesn't necessarily come to light, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, save your face.
Yeah.
One of the theories I want to just go back to a little bit is the like crime.
Sure.
Where maybe Charlie or their family witnessed a crime and they came and killed them all. The one thing I thought was very interesting is that if, let's say, Arthur had been sent away, maybe they needed more bullets or ammo for the gun. Then, a crime group came in and killed everyone. Is that possible that Arthur could be alive for that reason? That's the one thing that made me think. But, I think in a rural country town, what major crimes are you going to see on the dirt roads of North Carolina?
I mean, maybe a family massacre. I don't know. Like,
You never know.
Possibly. However, yeah, I don't think so. That one just doesn't sit right with me on that one.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I'm
seems like a
no.
really far reach.
Yeah, why would he send Arthur away? There's just no reason. But to add to that, why he sent Arthur away, it could be that he does want to keep his legacy going on. He wants his family to kind of continue going forward, right?
Yeah.
And his family name to be upheld, but he also doesn't want his secret to come out, potentially why he kept the oldest son.
Yeah, maybe the son didn't know.
It's
hard
what
to
have
say.
you. So I think those two could be combined.
Yeah.
The molestation and the continuing your family legacy on.
Yeah.
They could be one
One and the same.
of the same or one side of the same coin,
Yes, that's a
Two
better
sides of the
way
same
to say
coin.
it.
So either way, still much of all of this is based on secondhand stories and rumors, and there's no definitive proof. But whether these claims are true or not, they've become an inescapable part of the story, leaving people haunted not just by the murders, but by the possibility of what life might have been like for the Lawson family before that fateful day occurred.
Oh, for sure.
As we know, the Lawson family tragedy has inspired books, documentaries, and even songs like The Murder of the Lawson Family by the Carolina Buddies.
I listened to it.
Is it good?
No.
All right.
It's very dark, though. It's dark just like this story.
Yeah.
So they captured that, but it is not my style of music. It was like made in like 1930 or something ridiculous. So worth a listen to, everyone. Only once.
I'll say it one more time. It's called The Murder of the Lawson Family by the Carolina Buddies.
Yep. YouTube has it.
So obviously this chilling story, it's not just about the horrific crime, but also all of these unanswered questions and the lasting scars that it left on a community. And even decades later, the truth behind the Lawson family murders remains elusive, leaving behind only speculation and sorrow.
And their oldest boy never really spoke about it. I'm not sure if he spoke to like his wife or anything, but he never actually talked to anyone in the public to actually discuss why he thought it might have happened. He was very closed-mouthed about it.
Well, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like you just, not witnessed, but he saw them getting taken off.
Yeah, he lost his whole family.
His whole
I doubt he
family.
wants
He
to
was
talk about
alone.
much. Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
That must have been a hard life to live after that. And as we know, it was challenging for him. So
Yeah.
either way, Becky, that is the case of the Lawson family massacre. And Merry fucking Christmas to you all.
Yeah, Merry fucking Christmas. We hope you have a much better holiday than the Lawson family.
Thanks for listening, Becky.
Thanks for sharing.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.